The fight against uncontrolled proliferation of artificial intelligence. Robot workers and servants capable of performing any command the owner requires. The most unique and the most ridiculous space experiments. Real Robocops and unusual robot vacuum cleaners. See this and other high-tech news in one video. Hit it! Hello and welcome to ProRobots. My name's Connor and I'm the new channel host. People didn't like our initial AI host, and when we got David, people didn't believe he was real. So now that I'm here, I'm going to leave it up to you to decide if I'm real or not. Let me know in the comments what you think. And in the meantime, enjoy the video. Right, buddy? The European Parliament has passed a draft of the Artificial Intelligence Act, which would, among other things, limit the use of AI software for facial recognition. Also, creators of artificial intelligence systems, including ChatGPT, will be required to disclose more information about the data used to create AI models, as well as prevent the creation of illegal content, although developers claim this isn't really feasible. The EU's risk-based regulation focuses on AI applications that could potentially cause harm. These include, for example, automated control of critical infrastructure. But much more has come under the ban. Real-time facial recognition is currently banned altogether, but there is debate about exceptions. Extracting biometric data from social media is also banned, and this is not a complete list. Technology giants pushing for sensible regulation fear the strict laws could drive AI firms out of the EU. What do you think? Where do the edges of reasonability lie? California startup Varda has deployed its satellite into orbit, which will serve as a space pharmaceutical factory, and then, when it descends from orbit, will work as a hypersonic test facility at Mach 25. The purpose of the lab is to research the growth of protein crystals. This field is particularly attractive to drug developers. For example, Not Boring, working with Varda, has developed a unique leukemia immunotherapy drug, Blincyto, worth $114 billion per kilogram. The size of a yoga ball, the tiny pharmaceutical factory will stay in orbit for just over a month before launching an angled retro accelerator that will slow it down enough to fall back to Earth. Falling through the vacuum of space to its final landing point at the U.S. Air Force Proving Ground in Utah, the vehicle accelerates to hypersonic speeds in excess of Mach 25, or about 31,000 kilometers per hour. Functioning as a hypersonic facility will help reduce the overall cost of launch. The ESA, or European Space Agency, is involved in space research with the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. There, a group of engineers is concerned with the question of whether it's possible to fry potatoes in space. After all, if humans will be living in orbital stations and bases on the Moon and Mars, how would they live without their favorite fries? It turns out that it takes a lot more than a frying pan with hot oil to make fries. Frying is tricky, as it is a set of very complex principles and chemical processes, and some of them may not work in weightless environments. In particular, bubbles that form on potatoes during cooking might behave differently without gravity, as oil cannot circulate around the potatoes. It causes the bubbles to stick and form an insulating layer of steam. It may cause the potatoes not to cook properly. For the study, an environmental fryer was created, simulating conditions in space and recording all the details of the process. The apparatus was automated, sealed, and pressure tested, after which it was placed on board an ESA aircraft that flew in parabolic arcs, creating weightlessness for several seconds at a time. Startup 1X, now backed by OpenAI, has employed its robots as guards in 2 industrial facilities in Europe and the United States. The Eve robot is capable of many tasks, including patrolling, opening doors, and collecting items. The company says it is now developing a plan to bring its smart machines into nursing homes and hospices. Developers say that the robot is also good as a bartender and nurse. Eve is able to learn by adding each of its actions to the database used by all of the company's robots. The investment and participation of OpenAI is expected to allow the startup to incorporate advanced language models into their robots in the near future, so that they can correctly interpret and execute any human commands. But most importantly, in the future the robot should have functional legs, though we've already told you about this in previous issues, and you know who its competitors are going to be. The developers of Digit are trying to add intelligence and functionality to a robot by teaching it to clean up garbage with the help of language models. This robot is designed to work in warehouses and possibly deliver the last mile. And now it will clean as well. The developers use the voice command, "Clean up this mess," to make Digit interpret the words using a large language model to try and achieve the goal given the available physical capabilities. In doing so, the robot is not instructed exactly how to clean and what the mess is. The experiment is a great example of using conversational neural networks like ChatGPT to create real physical actions. It's another step to that beautiful future where you can tell the robot what it needs to do and it'll do exactly as it's commanded, given its capabilities. Roomba has decided to help its robotic vacuum cleaners to befriend pets in the most subliminal way possible. The company has built into the robots a compartment for pet food. Now the robot cleans in front of it and litters behind it, hoping that the four-legged inhabitants of the house will follow along cleaning up. This is good if it's pets, but not so much if it's small children. Another original solution in the field of robotic cleaning came from the company Amigo Robotics. Here they developed a robot ascender for cleaning stairs and moving robots from one floor to another. The robotic vacuum cleaner can dust, clean the floor, and use either legs or omnidirectional wheels to clean the whole house. How's that for a solution? Moving on, engineers from Thailand and Denmark teamed up to develop robots inspired by nature. The idea was to borrow from living creatures the unusual ways of moving around difficult surfaces created by nature itself in the process of evolution. The robots created as a result of the study of biotechnology received adaptive modal neural control. Now the robotic park includes 5 robots. The first is a robotic caterpillar with 2 electromagnetic legs capable of crawling and balancing on horizontal and vertical metal pipes without the fear of obstacles. The next is a robot centipede with a segmented body that can pre-adapt its body joints to move efficiently over rough terrain. Another is a dung beetle-inspired robot capable of transporting an object by grabbing it with its hind legs. And finally, a hexapod robot inspired by insects and capable of mimicking various gaits of its biological prototypes. So far, none of the robots serve any real purpose, but in my opinion, the dung beetle is most promising. What kind of animals would you like to see in metallic form? You are under arrest. Singapore is actively introducing Robocops. Patrol robots are equipped with cameras, sensors, speakers, a display, turn signals, and a siren. A retractable mast with a 360-degree camera and a two-way communication channel allows police officers from the station to communicate directly with the population. It is reported that the robots have been tested for 4 years and will now be universally implemented in the city-state with over 5 million people. Unitree Robotics officially unveiled its novelty Unitree VW. The robot should combine the best qualities of wheeled and walking machines. The trend for wheels on a 4-legged robot was set by Robotic Systems lab engineers. They then put the wheeled robots on 2 hind legs, trying to perform useful functions with the front ones. We're currently waiting for a version from Chinese manufacturers, but the question of practicality of such robots is still open. What do you think? Where can they be used? Write your most useful and crazy theories in the comments. Unitree is systematically moving towards the goal of creating robotic builders of future lunar and Martian bases. The company recently conducted a full-scale demonstration in the desert. The conditions there are quite different from those on the moon, so now Unitree engineers tested their robots for durability and stability, while working with an exact simulation of lunar regolith. Recall that regolith particles are much finer than ordinary sand, so they can, among other things, penetrate and clog robot assemblies, disrupting their operations. But Unitree robots don't seem to be affected by this. They were able to cope with the work in the simulator with 7 tons of lunar soil. The next step is to do the same thing, but under lunar gravity. Let's wait and see. By the way, a Japanese startup recently moved to the US, clearly hoping to attract the attention of NASA. As many of you heard, there was recently a tragedy at the bottom of the sea. A small submarine named Titan, which was tasked with taking 5 people to the wreck of the Titanic, disappeared without a trace. Sadly, due to an unknown flaw in the sub, all lives were lost. However, I would like to take a moment to highlight the role of robots in the search efforts for the missing vessel. Using what is called an ROV, remotely operated vehicle, teams of searchers were able to send these robots down to unimaginable depths to map the surface of the sea. ultimately allowing them to find the Titan's wreckage. Tethered to the decks of ships, the crews were then able to lower ROVs to various places they thought the sub might be. Then, operating them from kilometers above the surface, they scanned the seafloor for abnormalities that might indicate what happened. While the sub was not able to be saved, this technology proves valuable insights and ultimately closure to the crews involved in the search. With ROVs such as these able to explore depths that normal subs can't, search time was reduced to days and hours, as opposed to the years it took in previous decades. We send our condolences to those who lost loved ones in the tragedy. As the technology in deep-sea exploration continues to advance, we hope that someday the risk will be able to be taken with robots rather than humans.